Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Poke and Prodcast, the first episode. This episode is sponsored by Scooter, my band, so if you're interested, go to this link on the screen to check that out. Our next guest should be YouTuber Blue Shades, so if you have any questions to ask our guests, text 337-900-0725. Again, that is 337-900-0725, and on with the show. Everybody, welcome to the fucking Poke and Prodcast. Today, we're having the fucking magic, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, King Simp, Simeon Jimmy, also known as Mumkey Jones. How you doing today, man?
Yeah, I think King Simp is a pretty good name. I think I'll take that one.
Yeah, it sounds pretty fucking good. How you feeling, man? How you doing?
You know, I've all my life I've been king of the manlets, king of the trailer park. Now I got to be king of the simps. I'm true royalty on this podcast. Have you had any other 3-time kings before on here?
Well, considering this is episode 0, I'd say no. But
wow, I'm setting the bar really high as far as kings go.
Yeah, we're starting with fucking the King Simp. So we're in a good track to running this fucking whole show into the ground, which is what I love. Holy shit.
That's my goal with any show that I go on, is to ruin it so that they can never do it again.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, holy shit, stopping it in its tracks. How many of these dumbass fan requested podcasts have you been on?
You know, I get requests all the time, but as far as actually going on, I used to do it a lot back in the day, but then when I really got deep into making videos all the time, I slowed down on it, and now I've slowed down on doing literally everything. So it's been a long time since I did something like this.
Oh shit, no way. Well, I feel fucking flattered. Thank you for carrying me into this cesspool that is small-time YouTube. Oh, Jesus Christ.
How have you been enjoying doing YouTube? Because I know it's not easy starting off when you're not getting like the views and stuff that you would hopefully expect. Do you enjoy it regardless of that?
Yeah, well, the thing is about YouTube for me is that, you know, primarily I make music. That's where I do most of my creative outlets, and I make money off of that. It's actually it's really interesting because, believe it or not, it's a lot easier to make money off of like Spotify and, you know, like streaming services than it is YouTube, because my numbers on these streaming services are relatively low. Not like fucking 2 monthly listeners. I got over 1,000 now. I think my most popular song right now is just about 10,000 listens, but that's just on Spotify. So I spread all my content around every streaming service, and actually,
does that money come from ads, or do people like purchase your music?
Most of it comes from just listens, because being a musician, a small one too, in the digital age is really strange, because it's no longer about getting somebody important to listen to music, right? It's more getting anybody to listen to it. Because if you have some fucking Karen dipshit on iHeartRadio, which is surprisingly where I get the most money, is iHeartRadio. If I even just show up in somebody's like Pandora shuffle, that's where I get the most money. Because I've had my music. Of course, I never went into it expecting to make money. I actually was a simp myself. The reason I put my music on Spotify, because I've been making music for years, but the reason I put it there, that's why some of my early shit is really bad. It's because I was simping over this fucking girl back in high school.
Oh no.
Oh, it was hilarious. The rabbit hole goes deep.
Did you ever use her actual name in one of your songs?
No, but thank God I didn't, because holy shit, dude. I'm sure you can relate to this as a YouTuber, but you ever go back to your fucking old shit and just want to just annihilate yourself? Just what the fuck was I thinking?
I feel that way about stuff even as I'm uploading it, because you know, you would know, making music or videos, by the time we upload something, we've been through it over 100 times with the fine home, so we see all the imperfections, and
Oh yeah.
really we're sick of it at that point. Even the catchiest chorus or tune is gonna be it's gonna be drilled in our heads way too much by the time anybody else hears
Oh
it.
yeah, exactly. It's fucking ridiculous, and it's shitty too because some of the stuff that you put the most effort into, that you're most proud of, like instantly becomes obsolete in your head because you're like, why the fuck did I fucking write this? Like I have two full songs right now that I haven't released, and they're good. They like have full instrumentals. I went on Fiverr and fucking got like an actual drummer instead of doing those dumbass, because I do like alternative pop punk esque Green Day fucking MCR bullshit. But God, and you know what? It's a weird mixture of being proud of yourself and also just thinking I would fucking die if I ever heard anyone else hearing this. Actually, that's a decent question. I mean, I have a list of questions here. But this is one I'm just thinking of right now. Have you ever been embarrassed to show your videos around your parents or your friends, especially in the early days?
Yeah, the funny thing about that is when it comes to my friends and family, absolutely not. I don't think I've ever been embarrassed around my friends and family in my entire life because I've been doing stupid, embarrassing shit in front of them
Yeah,
forever,
yeah.
and I just think it's funny to see their reactions to it. But funnily enough, if I'm hanging out with my friends and then there's somebody who I don't usually see or somebody who I don't know, if my friends or family try to show my stuff to somebody who's more of an
Oh my
acquaintance,
God.
that's when I'll start freaking out. Like,
Oh,
no, no, no,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't need to. They can know me for me. They don't need to see this internet garbage.
Yeah,
Please, please.
exactly. And it's so rough because what if somebody's first interaction with you is your dumbass shit that you make? Because like if you're an inherently creative person, which I'm assuming you probably are, you make retarded shit all the fucking time.
Right.
So if one of my songs that people like to tout all the time is a song called Weeaboo Cowboy. And it's a song I wrote about my best buddy Zach. Shout out to Zach, you're a fucking asshole. But
Yeah, fuck you, Zach.
yeah, fuck you, Zach. Oh, oh boy, oh Jesus Christ. Anyways,
I hate that guy.
Oh, there's somebody you'd hate worse. Fuck the Juice Cast. Oh my God, no. There's a running joke that I started a long time ago, but I'll explain to that later because that's part of this fucking list I have. But yeah. So Weeaboo Cowboy is like my most famous song, and it's a song about back when I was in high school, and now I'm 19. I've been out of high school for a year and a half. He would walk in with fucking cowboy boots and sit down and watch anime all the fucking day and wouldn't do any work. And that song is supposed to be like a joke song. And people show it, and then they go immediately to like some of the cringy serious music, and then they're like, "Oh my God, Scotty, it's so good." And in my head, I'm just like, "Leave me the fuck alone, bitch. I don't know who you are." Especially at like family gatherings. It's ridiculous. Oh my God.
I would imagine that music is even worse for that than videos, because really with any videos I'm making, for the most part, I'm just trying to either make people laugh or think about something. I'm not really, but with music, it's so much more personal, and it's really art that you're making from your soul and from your. It's really pouring your emotions out on the page. And what sucks, we were talking about being maybe tired of something or second guessing something by the time you finish it, and that's got to be even worse when you have so much of your emotional and in your spirit poured into something, and then you're thinking, oh, but maybe it's not that good. You're second guessing your own feelings at that point, and that's got to suck.
Yeah, 1,000,000,000%. And I've tried a lot of creative things in my day because I've had my YouTube channel just kind of sitting there. Because at one point I did used to make YouTube poops, so I had like a following a little bit, not like Emp Lemon fucking YouTube poop following, but a little bit, a tiny one. And I had that when I was a teenager, but like with music, like my life is a clusterfuck, and that's not something I'm saying in a bad light, because I'm one of those guys who believes that the more you deal with, the stronger you are. Blada, you get fucking Jordan Peterson shit. But the creative block with music's really bad really fucking bad, because I can make something in fucking Sony Vegas or just go around and make something that's meant not to be taken seriously. But when you actually go out of your way to try to incorporate a meaning into something, that's fucking difficult, because you don't want it to feel disingenuous. And my biggest problem I find is it's very difficult to actually convert an emotion into sound. It's not something that is very easy to do at all, especially because I believe actually when it comes to making music, it's more the instrumental, less the vocals, or obviously more like the melody that sounds, that can convey that emotion. Like you'd listen to fucking Modest Mouse if you're a doomer or some bullshit like that, because you're depressed. Sure. Yeah, exactly. But anyways, yeah. So it's very difficult, and I often find myself finding lack of motivation, specifically just because I'm just sitting down there and I have these boatload of adult responsibilities. I'm like, when the fuck am I gonna find time to write about, this bullshit? Because I have a lot to write about. I think of things in my head all the fucking time when I'm taking a shit, fucking masturbating. In my head I think of melodies, but the moment I write them down, or the moment I'm back at the fucking deli and I want to go home and get high, it's like, or I want to hang out with my girlfriend or with Zach or any of these fucking retards. I never have. It's really hard to find like that weird, like I need to make a song feeling. But every now and then it'll come around, and it comes out around usually at like the perfect time, and you just have all this fucking motivation. That's where actually, some of my better stuff was made, even the earlier stuff, which I don't like anymore. And then the positive reaction you get from people, and then also in my case, luckily, with numbers, very encouraging. So that's one. It's one upside to dealing with all that bullshit, because it's difficult. Fucking, I would say for sure that it's a lot harder than people think. And if Anthony Fantano actually made some fucking music, maybe he would, understand it a little bit. But, he's too busy complaining about shit.
I don't think it's a coincidence that so many, famous artists, especially like in the, music industry, people who write songs and make their own stuff, a lot of them are really fucked up people. I think.
Oh yeah.
Like you kind of have to be super fucked up and crazy to even pursue some, like, professionally putting your emotions on stage like that to make money. You have to be a little bit crazy. So it really takes a special breed of people to even do this kind of stuff seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking hell. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you straight right now, if you get to know me and if you ever come back on this podcast, I'm fucking nut job. I am absolutely fucking insane. And
I think most people who post to YouTube are probably at least a little bit crazy. Everybody I've met doing this is fucking nuts.
Well, that's because your fucking sense of humor is very niche, and it hits like a certain individual. And that's why that actually leads to one of our questions. So I guess I'll get to that. We could still banter in between if you're not in a rush. But we can just go to that. But fucking, like, I can only imagine you've had some very interesting fan interactions, considering that your content is so niche. Not to say it's, like small fry. Obviously, you've had and continue to have, even after all the bullshit that happened last year, a pretty fucking decent following, and that's quite impressive, especially considering Susan's hatred towards everything that is you. But you've had to have some very strange fan interactions, right?
I've only met up with like big groups of fans maybe 5 or 6 times, because I've lived most of my YouTube career in either Iowa or North Carolina, and those aren't really the biggest hubs of running into people. One time when I was living in North Carolina, I went to like the Target store, maybe 10 minutes from where I was living, and some girl was like stalking me throughout the store, some girl who looked a little bit older than me, and I had and when I'm in my real life, I don't think about Mumkey, I don't think about Simmy and Jimmy, like I'm just,
Yeah, you're
you
just
know, myself. I don't
yeah.
expect to run into an internet person in the wild. So it's like why the fuck is this girl following me around? And then eventually she catches up and asks me if I'm from the internet. So I guess as far as weird shit goes, of just random encounters, that might be it. Somebody's stalking me 10 minutes from my house.
Oh,
And then I
Jesus
guess the other
Christ.
day we went to the Mall of America and I had a fan eat a crayon for a video.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
I mean
saw that. I
that's
saw
kind
that.
of weird, silly shit I can expect from my fan base.
Yeah, most of your fans, if not all of them, I'd say, are at least a little bit like, at least personality wise, on the spectrum. A little bit.
I would say if you're not willing to eat a crayon for a Twitter video, you probably shouldn't be a fan of me.
You know what?
That should be the bar that we set.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm right there with you. Fucking hell. Yeah, you know, considering it's so strange because my YouTube channel has been around for a while, and people from the old YouTube poop following, excuse me, kind of tracked me onto my current YouTube channel, and I only have 80 subscribers, because YouTube isn't like, you know, it's not a career for me. It's just fun. I'm doing this. Hopefully, I can maybe grow a little bit, but either way, it's just still fun. But those 80 subscribers usually seem pretty fucking a little bit dedicated. I don't know what about me. This is a problem I have in real life too. I don't know what about me draws people towards obsession, but it's happened to me multiple times, and it's always over the internet. I've only had one interaction with somebody, with a fan, quote unquote, in real life, and that's just when I was playing a show, and somebody at fucking Walmart recognized me because at the time I had bright fucking green hair. It's kind of hard to not recognize me, but they were like, "Oh yeah, your music's nice. I appreciated that." But all my fucking like weird internet venues that I've had, all the fans that I've met through like Discord, definitely rubbed me the wrong way for for an absolute positive. There's like 3 people, and I don't go on my computer very often anymore, but unless I'm making music. But there's like 3 people, like I could name right now, on my fucking Discord messages from the past 3 years, that have this weird like god complex for anybody who makes content on the internet. And if you even make anything that they remotely find funny, they'll like fawn over you like crazy. Like, "Oh, how's it going? I really like your shit." Or most importantly, this is a common theme within all of them, is that they all don't speak like fucking human beings. They speak like fucking anime characters. I swear to God, I don't know what's up with these kids. Like, there's this one person. Sorry, continue.
I was just gonna say, in my experience with online communities, I've found that the smaller a community is, usually the more dedicated those fans
Oh yeah.
are,
Oh yeah.
and even there's I've somewhat crafted some small fan bases. Like I'll find a random streamer with 0 viewers, and I'll be like, "Hey, everybody, let's go watch this guy." And then, you know, he'll get a couple hundred that night. But then a week later, there'll still be me and like 2 or 3 other people who stick around. And that, when it's just a close knit thing of like 3 guys watching a streamer, and everybody knows each other by name and they're all talking,
Yeah.
it's really more like a little family than an online fan base. So
Oh
I
yeah.
think
Yeah.
the
Of course.
smaller you are, that there are a lot of benefits that I mean, of course, everybody wants to be bigger, but you should really appreciate the time you're in now, because you're going to think back fondly to it when you blow up.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that, and I understand what you're saying too. And the same goes with my fucking musical art as well, because eventually I call it art. I sound like such an ass. Fucking, it's like, I don't know. It's comparable to like moving the city, I guess, because currently I live in a very I didn't grow up here, but I live in a very fucking small town, and in Massachusetts. And it's like the most rural town you can find in this fucking yuppie ass state. And I can only imagine it's very similar because everybody in this town knows each other. And if I go on another community of mine, I fucking streamer Shift, which I hope to have on the show at some point. He fucking speed runs a SpongeBob game that I grew up on. And if I go in that chat, everybody knows who I am. It's like, oh, it's fucking this guy. This fucking retard who I rose to prominence in that community because I started making songs for him. Really stupid songs, but anyways. Yeah, I don't know.
And the thing is, though, a lot of these people are probably in real life maybe a bit of outcasts who don't have a lot of friends. Maybe they're just single kids who don't have brothers and sisters. So their escape and their only sense of community and friendship is in these small little online things. And I think that's pretty neat. But also that's why, like you were saying, a lot of them can seem like they don't have the best social skills, or they might seem a little too invested in like personal issues and shit like that. But I think it's all in good fun.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest, I'm a elder Zoomer, as some of my younger friends like to call me. I'm 19, so I've been around the bush for a while. Still pretty young, but like, I've been in really fucking dark places in my life. Really fucking dark ones. And I will have to say my main escape was, because at one point I definitely, I was the kid with no friends, no fucking social skills. My escape was YouTube. That's how the fuck I found your YouTube channel. And I never once thought, hey, I'm going to be doing a fucking podcast with this guy, which is quite a good feeling.
Well, really, I think the majority of people who are in these YouTube communities probably fall into a similar background. Because if I think of the normies I know, like just the normal people who don't really have problems, that are like so emotionally disturbed, it's just like, people going to work and paying their bills. Those people don't usually spend a lot of time on YouTube or on Discord or posting comments. It's more of the weirdos like us who have to go on the internet because real life isn't that great for us.
Because, fucking, they don't have the right kind of age play on Pornhub. We gotta go to fucking X videos or X hamster or something. That's no, and it's kind of a little punk rock, and I love that too because
punk rock, but for like autistic people.
Yeah, that should have been my fucking senior quote. Oh my god. No, that should be the fucking... Okay, yep, we got a slogan for the podcast. Thank you, Mr. Jones. and that fits well, because I make punk rock music. Anyways, yeah, no, I appreciate
there you go.
I appreciate... I appreciate the sense of community. I don't think that's something that is reflected on a lot of other forms of media. I think definitely as much as this can go really far with some people who are super big, and get to a dangerous level, the sense of like companionship you get with internet media, because there's an inherent disconnect from mainstream, because it's more personal, and I think that's why people like us, or I know for a fact that's why I fell into it, it's like, it's company. It gets you through shit. Like if I didn't fucking watch say like your videos, or like Vine Sauce, or back in the day 2016 YouTubers, that fucking brought my family together. There's a huge benefit, because especially and my family, I don't have like a very large direct family. Right now I just live with my stepdad. One of my brothers moved out to fucking Washington because he's a hipster, and then it's just me, my stepdad, my brothers, my girlfriend, blah blah blah. It's really small. My mom's out of the picture, and my dad is in the picture, but he's kind of a little distant. He's in the city in Worcester. But we've been through as a family really fucked up shit, and I'm lucky because I do have my stepdad and my brothers and everything. They have the same really fucked up niche sense of humor as I do, so we'll watch this shit as a family. I'll never forget. I believe my stepfather, I call him Tut, he must be the only 50-year-old out there with a Zoomer mentality, because he watches your shit with me. Like he was fucking ecstatic when I told him I was doing this podcast. He's like, "Are you fucking serious?" Because he likes your shit. I got him back when I was younger, all into the iDubbbz, fucking Filthy Frank stuff back then. That the shock humor, and it's definitely content for fucked up people, but it's very, very. I think it's a very positive and healthy outlet, as long as it doesn't go down the fucking deep Etika rabbit hole. I say that while wearing a fucking Etika shirt. Anyways, so yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate the YouTube analytics are and how many people lie about, their age and stuff. But according to Google, like 4 or 5% of my views come from people who are over the age of 50, which kind of that blows my mind that somebody like like your stepdad or whoever you were talking about, like watching that kind of shit with you. I don't know how it would appeal to them at all, but I guess it's nice to have people of all ages watching.
Yeah, exactly. In my part of the country, we have a lot of mental illness. I think, I'm pulling this out of my ass because I'm not a fucking expert in any case, but New England has really, really fucking bad weather. We have the extremes every month. We have super fucking hot summers, super cold winters, and seasonal depression, bipolar disorder, fucking borderline personality disorder is through the roof here. And I find more and more people just not giving a shit and just watching this fucked up stuff. I know many, like, genuine adults that'll watch this fucking retarded ass content on YouTube. And I think that says something. I think that says something about this fucking depressing ass state I live in. Anyways.
And I think that's why one of the reasons why I love YouTube and really the internet in general is that you get the content that they would never put on TV. They would never put the Hair Cake trilogy by Filthy Frank on a fucking Adult Swim show because they just wouldn't do it. It's too disgusting. But on the internet, up until recently when they took one of them down, but on the internet you can get that kind of niche thing, and it turns out it's not so niche after all, because they have 8 million views each. On TV, it could have been a huge success, but they're too cowardly, and that's why the internet's great, because you can get anything on there.
Exactly. And that's why I think television's probably going to go down the shitter within the next 2 decades, most likely.
As it probably should.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had cable in 5 years, roughly. I don't see the reason to have cable. It just seems like a waste of money. And the shit that's poured down your throat with all these fucking, like, Honda ads and Bryan Cranston doing fucking The Shining for Mountain Dew. It's nothing. I think people are beginning to see above the bullshit now.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched a commercial in a long time because I have like ad block.
Yeah,
and I just go on the internet. So
yeah,
I
exactly.
never run
Me
into that
neither.
shit.
Yeah, no, I think the only ads I ever see are like NordVPN ads, or like
yeah, it'd be stuff that like YouTube sponsorships are doing.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on, did my girlfriend just show up? That might be my cat. Oh no, who cares? Fucking. Anyways, let's get to these questions. So, I know you've been making short films for a long ass time, but what in your head was like the trip to make you start posting YouTube videos? Because I know you've been doing for a long ass fucking time. Because I've seen those videos of you in like 2009 having a beef with some other fucking YouTuber. It was hilarious. You were bald.
Yeah.
So, what made you start? You just decided to do it one day?
It was probably like just my mom had a shitty video camera, and I was a big fan of things like The Whitest Kids You Know
Oh, I love
and
that
these
show.
sketch comedy things that I would watch.
Yeah.
So I would just me and my brother when we're home alone, like my parents are out maybe for like bowling night on Wednesdays, and we're home alone and have access to the camera. I'd say, "Fuck it, let's try to make our own little funny video." And for a long time, because I lived out in the boonies and we didn't have anything close to high speed internet, I pretty much grew up a lot of my youth without going on the internet a lot, believe it or not. But I would just make these videos on my computer and not upload them and just have them and watch them and show them to my family and people who come over, and that's it. And that was my video making for probably years. And so eventually, when I had access to the internet that was a little bit higher speed, the next natural step was just to upload them there and expand and make videos with my friends and invite other people from school to get into it and stuff like that. So it was never really about posting them to YouTube. It was just we were making them anyway, and YouTube is a place to post them.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Fucking it's interesting you say you spent most of your childhood without internet. I'm a little younger, but it's weird because I practically spent my entire childhood on the internet. I remember it was the shit that I grew up with as a kid really like molded me as a human being, which is definitely a bad thing. Because I grew up by just given like I had dial-up internet until like let's say '06, but I still had like internet. So I used to go on like fucking like Miniclip or whatever have you, like Nick.com back in fucking 2004 or whatever. So I remember like those big ass boxy Windows XP fucking looking things. And then when I moved to Connecticut for a little bit, my parents got high-speed internet, and that's when everything just fell down because I was given a computer, which I'm sorry, you shouldn't have given me a fucking computer. And I had 3 older brothers, so of course their toxicity is gonna leak into my internet doings, and then eventually, you see shit that you don't want to see, but you're also like learning constantly at the same time. So I'm really split as to whether growing up with instant access, because I've been using, that's what I did as a kid usually, unless I was playing like PS2 or hanging out with kids outside. But I would be on the computer. Like my entire childhood is like formulated around like a big ass fucking hunker CRT monitor with Windows on it, like with everything at my fingertips, like 2008 YouTube. So I've been on the site since the beginning, but like I'm curious as to like how that affects a child opposed to just growing up with like television and like GameCube or something. You get my point? It's like it hasn't been around long enough. It's like my generation is like just the cusp of the people who actually grew up entirely with that. So I'm curious as to
I've gone back and forth on my thoughts on this and on the State of the YouTube podcast. Rusty Cage and I both agreed that children shouldn't be allowed on the internet until they're like 18, but that was mostly in jest. But I think now that I've had some more time to think about it, I might just be a little bit more pro chaos, maybe. Because the way I see it, every generation probably saw new technology as corrupting the youth and being evil. Like they probably thought that about black and white television back in the 50s.
Well, they definitely thought that about black and white.
Exactly. So who are we to say like, oh no, kids shouldn't grow up on the internet, it's gonna ruin them, when like even if it does, who fucking cares? What are we gonna stop kids from going on the internet?
Yeah,
we're gonna become like some dystopian future where children are banned from having a phone.
They're gonna find ways around it either way. Your children are always going to be smarter than you, not in life skills, but like just statistically, they have more information now, so they're going to figure out ways to outsmart you and get to the shit that they want. So at that point, Like, my view is that you should keep your child away from social media until they're, say, like, in their early to mid teens. But I don't think there's a huge way to stop that. I'm concerned about the kids who are growing up with those weird ass, Elsa Gate videos. But at the end of the day, every fucking generation copes with their own shit. I mean, my fucking parents, and even some of my parents were beaten with a fucking belt and Hot Wheels tracks. And you could say the same thing about the internet. It's like, oh, you're abusing your kids by putting them on fucking YouTube. But also, you're talking to the same people who, fucked 14-year-olds and didn't really think it was a big deal.
Yeah, something I've noticed is that a lot of people like to be the internet police and
Yeah.
notice when other people are acting up and like call them out for it. And I used to really be into that kind of stuff, and I thought it was always interesting and funny. But I think now I've come to the point where it's like, man, who am I to tell somebody else what they should and shouldn't do? This is what the police are for. This is
Yeah.
what the government is for. I'm just on the internet to have fun and to see funny shit. And if
Yeah.
these people stop doing embarrassing, funny shit, then I'm not going to have anything to watch. So just let them keep doing it. And if they break the law, then fucking call the police.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I can't even bear to watch this fucking investigative YouTube community because everybody out there is Dr. Phil now. It's like
Yeah.
everybody out there is gonna be like, "What did Onision say?" Of course, you had to deal with that bullshit.
Oh yeah, well, it's whatever though, because like
Yeah,
even by the time I went through it, I was already like, God, it's just fucking people on the internet.
yeah,
Who
exactly.
cares, man?
And I,
If the police come knocking on my door with evidence that I've done something that I haven't done, then whatever, that's different. But fucking people on the internet, who really
yeah,
cares? Just
exactly,
don't
man.
look at it.
It's amazing. I gotta say though, I am quite fucking impressed by the shift that I've seen. I mean, I don't want to get into being a Dr. Phil because I don't like that. Even though the podcast is called the Poke and Prodcast, I'm not actually looking to poke and prod. It's just funny. But, I mean, this time last year, you were a wreck. A little bit, or at least on social media. But,
I've been probably a wreck since December of 2018.
yeah,
This car wreck has
exactly.
not been cleaned off the side of the road yet. There's still blood and guts scraped all over the tar.
Well, I'm sure there are, and I recognize that. But also at the same time, I just gotta say, from me, who's dealt not directly with the exact same shit, but like I can feel, I, I could feel you. I saw your shit, and I'm like, this is not like, this is not something I enjoy watching someone I like their content of go through, and I don't I don't see the same. Yeah, I see a vast improvement in not only your content but the way you hold yourself over the internet, and I gotta say I appreciate that because I wasn't really like nobody who watches your shit, but even just looking at you as an individual, nobody like wants to see someone fall like that. And from what I can see, you have seemed pretty goddamn decently climbing up that hole you fell down, and that honestly impresses the fuck out of me. I just want to say that. Congratulations.
The way I look at it, every single person on earth goes through moments in their life of weakness and personal growth and maturity
Mm-hmm.
and all these things. And thankfully, the vast majority of them don't have to go through those things through a public
Yeah.
light, through public scrutiny and all that stuff. So, I mean, unfortunately, that's what happened to me. But I feel like I'm over it. I feel like didn't really it sucked going through it, but now in retrospect, it's just like anything else that you fuck up in life and you learn from it and you try to be better in the future.
Yeah.
And just hope that the next time you make a mistake, maybe you don't post it on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. No. Yeah. No. But it's definitely it's something that I mentioned to my next guest. This is a YouTuber called Blue Shades. He made a video the other day, and I had to reach out to him because I was really interested in it, because I'm somebody who advocates for like anti-simp culture, and not to call you like an actual simp, but like anti-simp culture. And this motherfucker made a video because like his girlfriend cheated on him, and he's just like, oh, the video was called like Heartbreak Social Media and Relationships or whatever, and he just made some pretty decent points, because what I was expecting was for him to just sit down and sob and be like, girl so and so fucking cheated on me and now I have nothing to live for. Elliot Rodger behavior, if you know what I'm saying. But no, the guy
Never
actually
heard of him.
Yeah. The guy fucking sat down and actually was just like, yeah, no, this is shitty, but I'm going to get over it. It's whatever. I'm going to refrain from making all this public. And he was setting a good example, because I feel like there's a lot of fucking people on the internet who encourage acting like, you know, oh, I'm unloved. It's really bad on fucking Reddit. Holy shit. I'm fucking, my life is awful. Nobody loves me. I'm an incel. It's fucking retarded. Just like, it's so much of a pity party out there. So to see like you or that guy just pull their pants up and be like, no, I'm getting through this. It's a difficult time in my life, but I'll be okay. Instead of just fucking having a breakdown and looking for a pity party. It sets a good example for what people should be doing, especially even without a fucking internet presence. Because of course that saturates it a little bit, but you know, that's something I feel like a lot of people should learn, is that, you know, shit happens and the best thing is to just move forward. Because if you sit down and just kind of toxify it and let it curdle and just play this whole pity party the whole time, it's not gonna work out for you. And there's a lot of people out there, a lot of like doomer incel culture, which is fucking ridiculous, but you know, there's a lot of that out there, and I think that what you've shown for the most part, of course you have to keep your Mumkey Jones, the Simeon Jimmy like persona up on your channel, but with the dark humor and shit. But I think it was actually quite a good example of what you should do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and my most recent video I posted sort of hits the same points you've been making, where this guy, he didn't make it into my film contest, so he was just making a big ruckus about it on his social media. And
the guy had like no following either, right?
Yeah, he had 0 Twitter followers, but he's posting all these tweets like trying to prove his own conspiracies wrong, and like posting the receipts of his emails and shit. So now, I just thought it was really weird that somebody would be so invested in this thing that they would dedicate a whole week of their life to trying to get social media justice because their video didn't make it into a little online film festival. So I showed his example and said, people, please just try to have a little bit of self-awareness.
Yeah.
I know I've lacked self-awareness before, and at times everybody does. But if you're at the point where you're leading an online crusade for something that is really meaningless and petty, maybe you need to take a step back and really evaluate what's going on here.
Yeah. No, I fucking I was going to get to that point, but I'm glad we made our way to it. I thought that was actually really fucking clever, because I mean, nobody expects a YouTube guy to just look at you and be like, well, I'm just a guy. I'm not some sort of god that you need my attention. Like, you gave him the attention, but in a way where you're just like, dude, you're acting like a fucking clown. Because he was. Like, I think the film festivals are cool. There have been points where I've considered doing it, but I'm just like, what? I don't know how to make a short film. So, like, but, like, this guy thought in his head, the Mumkey Jones Film Festival is my destiny, and I need to make... It's like, this ain't fucking... This ain't Hollywood, bro. This is just 40,000 people on Twitter and 100+ thousand people on YouTube. It's just this ain't the fucking, you're not gonna get a career by putting your short film out there and it goes on the film festival that not a majority of your viewers watch. It's very niche, a good niche, but it's niche nonetheless. It's like this, it was, I don't know, that made me laugh though. I appreciated that you called this guy out in a respectful way, but also in a way where you're just like, what are you doing? I thought that was hilarious.
And it even goes back to the music discussion we were having earlier, where you seem to be motivated to make the music and to make the videos, even if it's not getting a huge following or a huge huge viewer base, because it's something you enjoy doing. And
Yeah.
my main message to him was, if you don't enjoy doing it for the sake of doing it, then find a hobby that you do enjoy, because it shouldn't be about how many people see it. It should be about how much you enjoyed making it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's why whenever I encourage anyone to start making anything creative, I'll always emphasize, hey, if you're doing this for the money or you're doing this for chicks, notoriety, there's a lot of people out there in the fucking music industry and in YouTube, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Because uh, there is only a minimal amount of satisfaction you get by looking at a number. But if you put something out there and it has emotional backing, and you recognize you have the ability to put just pure energy and the desire to create into something, physical, something that you can actually play back and be like, this is something I created. That's why you make that shit. Regardless of how I feel about my music or my YouTube, at the end of the day, I can look at it and be like, hey, that is me. I'm putting myself out there, and I'm doing it just because I like to. It's not for the numbers. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, and as long as you don't get Susaned and your whole thing gets deleted, that'll be something that you have for your whole life, a catalog
yeah,
of when I was
exactly.
19, I sat down and this is what I made. And it's you'll always have that touchstone of
Mm-hmm.
your former self right there.
Yeah, exactly. And fuck, I mean, I love on my second channel, I'll just post weird ass shit. I won't put any effort into it. I'll just put a camera on me and say something stupid, record my buddies, regardless, put up a dumbass song. I like to look at it and I'm just like, yeah, that is practically, I'm backing up my life. It's like I'm putting the significant periods of my life in a place where I can always come back to it. Uh, and it's nice because as I started doing this for years and years, I have old ass fucking videos on my YouTube, obviously unlisted, but like 2013, 2012, 2015, 16, 17, 18, I see myself in my adolescence, in my transitional period of my life, and just all the shit that I know in my head I went through, and seeing that I still decided to flip on a camera for no reason and catalog that, I think it's something that a lot more people should do, because it's practically the modern version of a photo album. But the technology we have now, we can make sure that these things are about as, you know, about as good of a backup of life as we can get right now. And I think that's really cool. It's why my girlfriend or my buddies will always see me flipping out a camera, because why would you not want to save that, you know?
Yeah, you're documenting precious and sometimes not so precious memories.
Yes, exactly. And some of the not so precious ones can even be a positive, because you can work off that. Be like, hey, I was retarded this time.
Yeah, or it's just something that makes you laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Let's bring up some of these questions here. I have questions from me, and I also have questions from the fucking fan phone number. Not a lot of people sent their questions in, but obviously this is fucking literally the first episode, so I'm not surprised. All right, so how did you? So you, Emp Lemon, and Rusty Cage are like the trio, or at least were, especially back with the State of the YouTube podcast. I'm wondering, how did you end up being their buddy?
You know, I'm gonna have to be careful because I don't remember all the details and I don't want to lie by accident. I don't really remember how I meet most of my friends, but I would assume it was just um Rusty Cage or one of us found the other guy on YouTube and would comment on the other guy's videos until like and when you see somebody with almost 1 million subs commenting on your videos, of course you're gonna go check them out and see what they're all about. Because why the hell are they watching me? I'm nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we just eventually became big enough fans of each other that we started talking. And then him and Emp Lemon live in the same city, so when I came down to hang out with Rusty, that's when I met Emp because they were friends already. And then it was just us three liked talking about stuff, so we did a podcast for a few months. I think I don't know how long that show lasted.
Is it defunct now? Is the state of the YouTube podcast now no more?
Oh yeah, Emp decided that he didn't like the podcast because the comments section was really getting to him. I think he likes doing scripted content for his channel a lot more than getting into off the top of his head debates with his friends. And a lot of people would like give him shit for what he had to say about Reddit and other things. So he's like, and then especially when the show went on a bit of a hiatus because of me and all my drama, we sort of just decided, hey, let's do one more stream together and then end it. But Rusty and I still want to do a similar show. We haven't gotten around to it yet, but I'm sure we'll end up podcasting again and probably have Emp join us as a guest. So really, State of the YouTube's not dead. It's just taking a nap.
Well, I'd love to have him on here if I get enough notoriety. That would be fucking badass. So, spread my message a little bit if I'm entertaining enough of a podcast host. But anyways.
Oh sure, I'll share the podcast on my Twitter for sure.
Oh seriously, nice. Okay, fucking sounds good to me. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you know, my persona on YouTube, it is a dickhead. That's what I go for. Is the Zag the Wag channel supposed to be I'm an asshole, right? And I feel like Mumkey Jones is, or Simeon Jimmy or whatever you want, you're still Mumkey. It's just under a secret incognito name. But it's very interesting because one thing I've noticed about interacting you is that you're fucking nice as hell. I think that goes along with a lot of people who play these characters online, is that there's such a disconnect between the persona and the person, and I appreciate that. I've been saying that a lot. Fuck.
Well, I think in my videos, especially if I'm gonna go hard on somebody and call them a fucking retard, or go off on them, I think it's because I have like a deep ideological disagreement with them, and I want to belittle them because I think they're doing something that is harmful to the human race. So, like for example, the kind of things I'll target will be like, fucking Sharia law Muslims, or religion in general. It's not usually a specific person who I want to shit on, but more of just an entire idea that people choose to follow. Or like anybody who endorses cancel culture. Go fuck yourself if you're trying to ruin somebody's life with limited or false evidence. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So when it comes to interacting with individual people, I don't really have any reason to be anything other than kind to them. I don't know why I would be mean to random people.
Yeah, well, I didn't expect you, because I know there's a disconnect between the persona. It's just people are so, like, people think in such a fucking literal sense sometimes, where they cannot see the disconnect between somebody putting on a show and somebody in reality. And it's really funny because there's so many people fucking like that on the internet. Most people, especially if they're watching a YouTuber and they're younger, don't understand. Because if they're not out there and doing entertainment like music or YouTube, we're here to make you laugh or to make you like the things that you're hearing. We're just normal fucking people. We're not. We're like Samuel Jackson doesn't say. Won't go up to you and be like, "Get out of my way, motherfucker," or some bullshit, right? He's not actually.
He might.
Well, with some of the bigger celebrities, sure, some of them might be fucking righteous cunts, but especially with YouTube, it's like, oh, I met Mr. Medicare. He's not a dick in real life. That's because this motherfucker is putting on a show for you. It's so strange. Fucking, I think it's funny.
Yeah, most of the quote unquote e-celebs that I've met in real life were just quiet, shy boys.
Yeah,
who are almost nothing like their on-camera personality, and you wouldn't know that they were an entertaining personality online unless somebody told you.
Yeah. I people seem to forget that this ain't a video game. We're not robots written by scripts. We are
right.
Actual in-depth human beings, and we have like a normal mode. I say
somewhat normal.
Somewhat.
Most of us,
most of the people in like this community are out there, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Fucking try to go on YouTube Studio. All right, so I remember you remember how YouTube kind of had like three kings, and it was Max Mofo, Filthy Frank, and iDubbbz. They were like the kings of YouTube. At one point, I was genuinely like convinced, and I still think that your content is that quality, but that you fucking Rusty and Asperger, when you're doing the Wheel of Cursed Meals thing, which for the record, Big's perfectly adequate replacement for fucking Asperger. I am very very happy that he's in your content because I think he's fucking hilarious. But like, yeah, I was thinking back in the day, back when I was still in high school, it's like, oh, I should make a video like how these guys are going to be the top 3 kings of YouTube, because you guys made similar content. It's just that YouTube doesn't want that kind of content up there anymore. Because if you guys kept going and some of that shit didn't go down, I promise you probably would have been over 1 million subscribers by now, I would say. Just if Mumkey Jones, the channel, wasn't taken down and you had no fucking FBI involvement at all.
Yeah, but if it wasn't for me making that kind of content that was borderline, I wouldn't have gotten popular anyway. So it was never destined to be a 1 million sub property,
I guess. But the quality is there. I do definitely. I remember, because before you were taken, I would say you're probably in my top favorite like internet content creators, but I was just like, this guy's channel is nothing that I've seen in the past year. So it was nice to have that. And yeah, you were definitely up there for a bit, and it sucks, man. Do you ever think there's going to be another platform where we could actually make that type of content again? Or do you think that at some point YouTube is going to reform, or it's just the era's done?
I believe it or not, these are not the sorts of things that I really even think about at all anymore. YouTube deleting my stuff really fucked me up for a long time, but I think I've reached the point now where if every single social media account I had got terminated tomorrow, I'd probably be okay with it. I've sort of half moved on. I still like making videos. I'm still going to do it, still going to post them. But now that I see how futile all of it is, and that it can be taken away at a moment, it's really hard to care enough to think about it that deeply. I hope that there's a future for that style of content, but I have no idea. I have no insights about how that would happen.
Yeah, exactly. And that makes sense. I think that's probably... I think that's a mentality that most people should have if they're making content too, is a lot of fucking YouTubers are like paranoid nowadays that their channel's just gonna be gone and fucking
Yeah.
something's gonna happen, and it's like the coronavirus of fucking channels getting demonetized. That's a word that is touted a lot. It's just demonetized. Sometimes you're just not meant to fucking. Sometimes this shit should just. Most of the time, I feel like this shit should just be made for fun. Anyway.
Yeah, if you can make money from it, it's nice, but you know, you shouldn't feel entitled to it. You should
Yeah.
feel entitled to the intrinsic value of making content. You shouldn't feel entitled to anything else. You shouldn't feel entitled to fans, success, fame, or anything.
Yeah.
If you have it, you should appreciate it for what it is, and you shouldn't act like you deserve it somehow more than anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. And if that's something you really want to achieve, you know, it's possible. It's going to take work, but it should not be, oh, I'm going to fucking put a bullet in my head if I don't have 40,000 subscribers next year. People are so just like, this is it. No, it's YouTube. It's a temporary career for sure. Do you make content full time?
I mean, I make money from a lot of different things these days, so that's why I'm saying, like, if I lost to YouTube, I would still be just fine.
Yeah.
I've slowed down on making stuff. I don't make it as often as, like, back in the day. I would have a new feature-length video every fucking week, like every single week for years, and now
Yeah.
it's like two videos a month maybe. So I've pretty much cut the workload down in half. But I feel more confident and happy with the stuff I'm making now. And you know, a video like the Wheel of Cursed Meals, you can't make that in a week. That shit takes lots of time and effort and planning and scheduling and stuff. But I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
it's worth the wait because it ends up being a higher quality video than something I make in Windows Movie Maker in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, I strongly agree there, and I love that fucking Wheel of the Wheel, series, pretty fucking top tier. I don't know if you remember this, but I actually tweeted you like 2 months ago when I was doing some mushrooms, and I'm just like, put some mushrooms in the Wheel of Cursed Wheels.
I would if I had them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, if you're ever in Massachusetts, hit me up. I got a fucking trap house where I'll give you the space to record.
Yeah, we'll get Biggs fucked up on some mushroom pizza.
Oh yeah, and fucking don't forget, it's Massachusetts, so marijuana's legal too. Oh god, that's amazing. Do you smoke pot?
I did a lot, I guess, last year, but not so much anymore because it's not super easy to get in Iowa without taking a long drive to where it's legal, and I just don't feel like going on a big road trip to buy weed. It seems like
Yeah,
something I would have done back in college.
yeah, exactly. It's so strange because weed has been legal in this state for like 4 years now, roughly. It's gotten to the point where it's so normal to smoke pot. I barely know anybody who doesn't. And fucking Snoop Dogg came to the dispensary like a mile down my road. I don't know why the fuck he decided to go to Uxbridge, Massachusetts. Okay, nobody thinks of these fucking towns, right? If you're gonna go to a dispensary, at least go to one in Boston, right? Because that's a city that people know. But Uxbridge, Massachusetts, fucking Caroline's Cannabis, just right down, like, it would be a 5-minute drive to just buy some pot, and fucking Snoop Dogg showed up the other day. You can look it up. There's fucking there's videos all over the place. I remember hanging out with Zach and telling him specifically, you know, I'm missing seeing fucking Snoop Dogg because of your fucking bullshit. I forget what we saw. I think I don't know. This town's fucking, we barely anything to do here. We just probably went to Walmart or some bullshit.
He wanted some of that good old country weed. You can't get that in Boston.
Fucking hell. Country weed. Well, I mean, the
That
town.
city boy weed, it don't hit right.
City boy weed. I will have to say, weed has gotten significantly cheaper. Back when I was a teenager, it was $10 a gram, hands down. You cannot get anything cheaper, and if you're paying anything more, you're getting ripped off. Nowadays, fucking $10 will get you 2.5 grams of really good weed. It's hilarious, and it's all the people lowering their prices, the dealers, because the fucking the dispensaries are around, and nobody wants to pay these insane taxes for weed because they bump the price up like crazy. I think an eighth is $60, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. So what's the tax rate on that? Like 30%?
Something ridiculous like that. I don't, I don't, unless you're getting like edibles, or they don't. This is bullshit too. They don't. Massachusetts, we just got over our stupid fucking vape ban, but they continued to make cannabis cartridges illegal, and those things are bad fucking ass. So I remember I'm actually the owner of the very last dab cartridge from Caroline's Cannabis in Uxbridge, and I got that. But the guy who gave it to me proceeded to beat the shit out of me last month, so I don't talk to him anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, it was stupid. He's a good guy though. He's a missing part of his brain, literally. Anyways, so depression chamber. What is I there are so many fucking stories on that stream. It's like depressing lonely boy cesspool. Is there any depression chamber story that you've read but decided not to air?
Oh no, I read them all live for the first time while live streaming, so there's not really any way to, edit or restrict any of the stories. They just, if somebody sent it in, it's getting read. Yeah, it doesn't matter how brutal or sad or disgusting it might be. It's just that it's the nature of the program. I like to give everybody a chance to give their story the way they want to give it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool considering that there's not a lot of venues out there, or avenues rather, you can go down to just fucking have somebody read your retarded ramblings. And
I don't know how many other people would even be interested in that. Like, I could not imagine a Philip DeFranco saying, "Hey, everybody, email me your depression stories and I'll read them on my show." It just doesn't seem like a mainstream idea. It seems like the nichest niche ever, but then other people can come in and enjoy it for whatever cruel or disgusting reasons that they enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. It's like that sense of humor is not very common. I think it's going to become more common as we go on, but like, especially people our age who grew up with fucking like Tim and Eric, fucking some of the younger kids got the Eric Andre show and shit like that. Definitely influenced our really fucking weird sense of humor, or like cartoons, I'd say, definitely. Jesus Christ. What's the is there any story in Depression Chamber that physically made you sad?
I think they all make me a little bit sad to some extent. No matter how funny some of them might be, or no matter, like, even like Elliot Rogers' story, which is the funniest depression chamber of them all,
Yeah.
still makes me really sad that somebody, because each individual person's sense of reality is completely based on their perception, and oftentimes that perception is clouded by mental illness and they don't see things the way that probably they should.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
just that so many people around the world go through shitty experiences and have such a negative outlook on both life and themselves, I think it's a deeply relatable and sad thing. And as funny as some of them might be, yeah, I think they're all sad to a certain extent.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a it's a little bit poetic and a little bit. I think it's definitely a positive at the end of the day, because a lot of people have, especially if you're feeling depressed or lonely, feel as if they're not being listened to. So just have somebody that enjoys you enjoy, just saying, even if it's the most depressing, most sad thing ever, at the end of the day you feel like, hey, I'm not alone. Even if it's over a screen, there are other people who feel this shit. I think that's ultimately a positive too. that's something that I think a lot of people could need, because there's not a lot of especially if you're feeling like depressed in your adolescence or young adulthood, the desire to like want to go out and see a shrink or get on medication. It's really hard to convince yourself to do that, because at the end of the day you're thinking, am I just a broken human being? But like, if you hear the stories of other people that have gone through similar shit, and even if it's in a very like edgy, dark, humorous way, it's still ultimately a positive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and things like medication and therapy, those can cost a lot of money
Oh
too.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
there's no amount of money in the world that can buy you getting roasted by a Twitch chat of 200 people.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
think that might be the medicine that some people need to really wake up and realize, oh, I am just being a fucking pathetic baby in this regard. Maybe the Twitch chat roasting me is the best thing that could happen for me.
Yeah, exactly. Um so here. Okay, so we're gonna get on to the phone number questions now. So if you're listening to this and you're willing to ask any questions by text to any of our guests that we're going to have in the future, possibly if Mumkey comes back on the show, text 337-900-0725. Again, that is 337-900-0725. The messages go straight to me, and I'll read them for you. You just got to put in your name, or not put in your name if you feel like it. I put it out on Reddit and a couple Discord servers, and I do have a couple questions from both friends and people I do not know. So, without further ado, let's get to these fucking questions, bro. So, from Mike Evade. Evade. What hentai do you watch?
Hentai. I think the last one that I watched was probably Boku no Pico back in 2015.
Jesus Christ.
Otherwise, I generally stick to non-animated porn.
I oh my god, a couple years ago I made a 15-year-old Google Boku no Pico in
That's about how old
class.
I was when I found it
Yeah.
too.
And this kid, his name's Daniel, will always give the best reactions to everything. And he fucking started freaking out in the middle of this academic support class back when I was in high school. And like teachers got involved. And of course, fucking, he wouldn't say, oh, Scott showed me this thing. He's just like, no, I don't want to talk about what I just looked at. It was fucking hilarious. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking. All right. Zach O'Brien, fuck you, Scott. Okay, well, fuck you too, buddy. Joe
Good
Mix
question.
Joe Mick Swanson. Oh, this is for me. Scotty, I've been following your channel since the Zag the Equivalent days. We don't talk about that. How did you feel about the new Green Day album? Well, the thing is about Father of All is I don't dislike it, but it's not like the Green Day that I grew up with. It's good music, but they're definitely in like their fucking boomer phase, and I think they need to get over themselves a little bit. Right now, I think Weezer's doing a little bit better than them, because at least he has some fucking self-awareness. But Green Day is my favorite band next to Modest Mouse and Weezer, so I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to say I don't like it. So I like it, but it's not what I wanted. That being said, Mumkey, I'm going to change this into a question for you. What kind of music do you listen to?
Lately, I've been getting more into podcasts than music. I used to listen to music a lot when I would have a commute, but now that I don't drive my car very often, I don't really listen to music for leisure as much as I used to. But I was always into progressive rock and progressive metal, and trying to find obscure European bands that don't play on the radio here, because I felt like I was part of a secret club listening to stuff that nobody else I knew listened to. So I guess if it's a 30-minute prog rock song from some like tiny European country, I probably really like it.
Nice. So if you're into prog rock, you probably like Tool, huh?
No, that would be like more of a mainstream band. That's not really something I've listened much to. I'm more into stuff like Spock's Beard, Transatlantic, Arion, Avantasia, just obscure shit that most people would be like, okay, that's kind of pretentious of you to listen to.
Yeah, I feel you. I fucking most of my music that I listen to is rather kind of underground as well. I aside from like the pop punk shit I listen to, or the shit I listened to as a kid, I listen to a lot of dead electronic music. Chill wave, for example, was a fucking trend that happened from like 2009 to like 2015, and it's a completely dead format. But stuff like Neon Indian, Washed Out, fucking Beach Fossil, shit like that. And I also listen to a lot of like Mac DeMarco, fucking a lot of Weezer, Green Day, Gorillaz, etc. A lot of MCR recently because I'm going through a second emo phase now that this fucking now that they're coming back. So yeah, no, I can definitely appreciate the obscure music taste. I feel it's very fitting.
Yeah, well, when it comes to mainstream, there's, I mean, huge bands that I would love to like see in concert, like System of a Down or Metallica or Pearl Jam. But like, that's my dad's favorite music, so of course I like it too.
Yeah, man, it's fucking. I think System of a Down's coming back, because I would love for them to make another album. My stepdad showed me them when I was a kid, and I was super into them. Fucking, they're a little pretentious too, but I love them. I don't think there's a single System of a Down song I don't like. Fucking from
a lot of System of a Down likes to sound alike. I probably couldn't tell you, if you played me a song, I couldn't tell you which album it came out on, but I enjoy what they do.
Yeah, it's very difficult with their last two albums because the fucking album cover looks exactly the same.
Yeah, I know that they had. Was it them who had to steal this album?
Yeah, yeah, they did. Yeah, I remember that one because I remember that was actually the first System of a Down. Back on the 360, you could load like CDs onto the hard drive and play music. So I listened to American Idiot, Lateralis by Tool, and also Steal This Album because that was the only System album I had on disc.
Did you steal it?
I stole a lot of music back then. My parents did use LimeWire. I remember because they downloaded porn, and me and my brothers were trying to find out if it was intentional. And I know my stepdad's listening to this. Yeah, we do know that there was porn on LimeWire. I am fully aware. I don't know if it was you or Jeremy, Jacob, Mum. It doesn't matter. There was porn on LimeWire, and they got one of those piracy letters one time. And they're like, "That's it, we're done."
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hell. But yeah. As for Pearl Jam, I mean, I like their first album, 10. I thought it was good, but honestly, I don't really fuck with the later shit.
10, I would say is, and I don't listen to a whole lot of albums, but I would say 10 by Pearl Jam is one of, if not the closest to a perfect album I can think of. I think every song on there is amazing.
Yeah. Honestly, recently I've been getting kind of back. I've never, because I grew up with I grew up with my parents' music, and of course my parents were straight out of the 90s, so they're all in their late 40s, mid 40s to 50s. So they listen to a lot of fucking like, say, like obviously Pearl Jam, shit like fucking Marcy Playground. Live, Tool, as I said before, but a lot of like softish to hardish grunge to rock music. There's one fucking song that I found the other day, and it's been like stuck in my head for like the past month, and now I infected my girlfriend with it too. It's just ever hear a song that sounds exactly like an era? Like, I wasn't alive in the 90s, but fucking, I could just, this song, by the Crash Test Dummies. You listen to that, and you feel like you're driving a shitty Toyota Corolla and it's 94, and you're on fucking Highway 290. I don't know why. It's not even like a great song. It just sounds like that era. It's the most concentrated, you know, in the 90s where a lot of people sang like fucking Eddie Vedder with the, you know, that bullshit.
Yeah, the song. I actually did a music video parody of that as one of my earliest Mumkey Jones videos for my. I did a review of the Quran, and I ended it with a. It was like a Bill Nye style music video parody, but I changed all the lyrics to be about. I assume something to do with Sharia law. I don't remember. It's been like almost 5 years since I made that video, but it's funny you bring that song up in particular because that's a song I have a history with.
That's fucking hilarious. Who would have known? That's fucking weird ass synchronicities. Oh well,
Yeah.
shit's
And
meant to
that video,
happen.
I don't even know if those videos are still up anywhere because that was like Mumkey's anime reviews
Yeah, the
number
classic
15
shit.
from forever ago. I don't even know where somebody could find it if it's not on YouTube.
Well, if you dig it up, definitely send me that fucking link because I want to see that shit for
I don't
sure.
know. I don't have it. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it even anymore.
I wonder. I think there was some people trying to back up your old videos, so I'll go on like a rabbit hole, see if I can send it to you later if I find it. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, our next question is from 0000. Okay, you didn't have to put a name, but thanks. How's that niche? What the fuck? How's that Nissan Sentra holding you up?
Is that to me or you?
I don't drive a Sentra, so it's to you.
Oh, I drive a Ford Fusion.
Interesting. Did you have a
Yeah.
fucking Sentra at any point?
Not that I know of, but I don't really pay attention to cars and models and shit. I
Interesting.
just I bought a car that had good gas mileage. I didn't really care who made it.
Yeah, I feel you. Fucking my current car is still my first car. I drive a fucking this fucking thing. I don't understand how reliable it is because it's like it falls apart every once in a while. But like it has like it's 44 miles the fucking gallon. It's a 2000 Toyota Echo with a dent in it because I got into a fucking accident. God, the thing doesn't even have
That
power
kind of
steering.
stuff has never really bothered me. Like, like having dents and stuff. I get taking pride in somebody's car, and like if you spend a
Yeah,
lot of money on a new car, you probably don't want it banged up. But if I went outside and somebody keyed my car, it would be far from the end of the world.
yeah,
Because like I use this thing to fucking drive to the grocery store. As long as it operates, I don't really care what it looks like.
yeah. Exactly. I feel you there. Fucking. I got into. I don't go on Reddit very often, but the times that I do, it's usually when I'm stoned off my ass and my girlfriend is asleep and I'm on my phone and I'm bored. So one of these days, because I've been interested in buying a new car and I'm going to, I think I'm going to be buying an '06 fucking Subaru Impreza because my car I'm giving to my brother. But I posted on fucking unpopular opinions. I'm like, you can 100% get a nice used car for under $2,000 and have it be okay to do small commuting. And then I had hordes of people just be like, "You're fucking wrong." I'm like, "No, I'm not." If people don't know where the fucking I love the car community is so elitist. It's one of those things. It's same with like the guitar playing community. If you don't have the nicest fucking thing, or if you want to be budgeted, people won't accept that you can get something perfectly fine. My guitar right now, I have a good number of guitars, but my guitar right now is my favorite guitar I own, and I have a lot of guitars. Some of them more expensive, some of them a little less expensive. And this one was only $400, and it's amazing. And everybody wants to have the new fancy shit, like fucking AirPods or some shit. I think it's hilarious, but that's just the boomer in me.
Yeah, I don't really get it either. With especially like you said AirPods, I don't get the obsession with Apple products or anything along those lines. I'm really more of a functionality over popularity kind of guy. I buy like 40 $50 pairs of shoes just because they feel comfortable, not
Mm-hmm.
because it's a fucking Air Jordan or whatever everybody wants. I don't even know if that's a popular reference anymore. Do people still wear Air Jordans, or was that of a bygone era? I don't even know.
I don't fucking know, man. I was never a shoe guy. I mean, like I like the feeling and look of nice shoes. I have one nice pair of Vans that I wear, but other than that, I just kind of fuck with Walmart shoes or wear my work shoes around because I'm not looking to spend $100+ on shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the two T-shirts I wear the most are my Reactor merch and my Rusty Cage merch that I bought. So it's not like I'm going out to get the hottest style or trend either.
Yeah, yeah. I think most of what I wear is just black T-shirts with the design. It's usually a
Yeah.
band T-shirt or like YouTuber merch. I'm currently wearing just because it's clean. My fucking Joy-Con Boys shirt that I bought when Etika died. Rip. Fucking hell, that was awful. Oh my god, I was on. So I'm sure you know about Etika,
Yeah,
but
he actually followed me on Twitter, so now I can always brag that Etika still follows me on Twitter. They put his account back up.
yeah, man. I talked to him a couple times. He's actually a really fucking cool dude back when he was still alive. It sucks. I was actually really sad when he fucking passed because it was one of those YouTubers that I'd watch to pretend like I had friends, even though I did. But like, I would watch his streams because he's like a cool dude that I can just chill out and forget that I'm a fucking loser in high school or whatever. Is one of those guys I would watch, and I'm not really all that into gaming YouTube. Aside from speedrunning, but his shit really was kind of a nice community, and he gave me the N-word pass, and I appreciate that. But he
You have
did.
to use it in his honor.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Fucking, if I got the shirt on, that's my nigga pass right there.
Yeah.
Fucking. But no, shit. Oh yeah, the point I was in a Discord server, and the owner of this Discord server, I went in after he died. We played a Minecraft game, and the guy had like a weird lisp. I thought he might have been like a little mentally ill, a little bit. Turns out, like 2 weeks later, he's a pedophile.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
Discord for you.
Yeah, exactly. There's so fucking many. Oh, I don't know how many times I've just had a Discord server with my buddies, and some rando comes in. Do you understand? How fucking easy it is to just get a female to send you nudes over Discord. There's so like my
Is
friends.
that what he said, or is that what you're asking me?
No, that's what I'm asking you.
Oh, no, I guess I don't know how easy it is.
It's like if you don't look like fucking Eggman, then you're fine. Like I'm not somebody. I don't like the concept of nudes from a fucking random ass person. I'm not that horny, but my friends are, because some of my friends are virgins. So they'll take whatever the fuck they can get. And I've had at least 2 to 3 people just join a random Discord server when we're playing Rainbow Six Siege, and all of a sudden I hear my buddies on their Snapchat going, I just got some nudes. Fucking whatever.
Yeah, I used to enjoy, not from Discord, but like on Snapchat and stuff, if fans would send me nudes and stuff, I would usually get dudes and see like their dicks while they're taking a shit. So
Are you fucking serious?
I would, oh yeah, all the time. I've gotten probably 90% of the nudes I've received on my, my YouTuber Snapchat has just been like dudes taking nasty dumps and shit. But I always appreciate it. I always think it's funny.
Yeah. Fucking one of the times it was like a transgender person, and out of nowhere just messaged my buddy Zach. And Zach, I have so many videos of this fucker on YouTube. He is an otherworldly being. I don't understand how this man exists, but he's a fucking cartoon character. And this fucking random ass person, she, I don't know, sent him a picture of their ass open with just like their dick and balls hanging out with like dyed anime hair, asking, I want you to fuck me in the ass. And then I'm like, okay, well, fucking okay, yeah, I'm not interested in
It's
that
the
noise
highest
right now.
form of flattery. Your friend should be very pleased that somebody would be so open with them.
I might.
Doesn't mean you have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like my buddy Benji always seems to get that kind of attention all the time because he's just a stoic guy. Unlike the reason I usually end up getting is because I'm a fucking e-boy. It's just the way I hold myself.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. But it's he'll just, it's like, I'm not gonna make him stop. It's like, if that's what they want to do, then sure.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. I did actually end up finding a fucking archive of some of your videos. I'm gonna send you that real quick. Fucking the first thing that comes up is your Poke and Prodcast review.
Ah, classic.
All right, so Reactor, is his channel still a thing?
Yeah, Reactor. He's been going through some legal issues lately with a big lawsuit, so he's taken a bit of a step back from doing funny little YouTube videos. He actually just started a Kickstarter to fund his legal battle about a week ago.
Oh shit!
So
all right.
I think once that's cleared up, he might start making videos regularly again. Because for a long time there, he was doing basically weekly videos. But I think it's been almost 7 months since his last one.
Well, I'll definitely throw a couple bucks his way. It's good to know that. So, you started your internet journey on another podcast, correct? I forget what podcast it was, but I remember there was some beef. They just kind of seemed like a bunch of squirmy guys. But fucking, what is that other podcast? I'm trying to pull it up here. I lost the link though. Let's see here. Yeah, PCP. What the hell was that? I missed that train.
So the Procrastinators podcast, back when I was making anime reviews, I didn't know who any of them were, but a bunch of those guys are famous on YouTube for making anime content, like Digibro and Nate and Endless Jess. They were all like big into the anime community on YouTube. So when they saw my videos making fun of their style of video, like, you know, you're like, oh, anime is so deep and complex, guys, yuck.
Yeah.
They liked it, and I became friends with a bunch of those guys and joined their podcast. And then we eventually, as every internet group does, we got into stupid, pointless drama that ended in me not being on the show anymore. But it's, you know, it's whatever. I'm still friends with a good number of those guys, so it's not like any actual hard feelings, just some maybe familial jabs every once in a while, because why not?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta shake up the fucking Rasnets somehow, which is exactly what I'm gonna do right now. So earlier in this podcast, I talked about how there was kind of like a running joke within my friend group. It's because there's this guy that I know, and I'm gonna censor his name when I edit this later. And this motherfucker has been like, ever have like an arch nemesis for like no reason? Like in real life, you just happen to find somebody that ends up being similar to you enough to be friends in the beginning, and then otherwise becomes your Dio to your JoJo, if you know what I'm saying. If you watch JoJo. Fucking,
I don't, but I know what you're saying.
It's just like, no matter what, you run past with this guy, and it's always like, you kind of enjoy the beef a little bit. So this guy used to be my friend, and one thing that I noticed is that I when I first started watching your videos, I'm like, hey, Ethan, you would fucking love this guy. He's like practically you. He talks and acts similar and thinks the same, or at least over the camera. And he's like, no, I like Lemon better. And I thought, that's what he says. That's what he says nowadays. And
that's fine.
It's just, I just want to say, fuck the cast. Fuck everything that has to do with Z's media. Fuck everything that has to do with him and his YouTube channel.
Yeah, fuck you, EZ.
Perfect. All right, all right. Now, is there anything that you want to talk about before we close this? Because I am done with that list.
Yeah, I want to say to anybody thinking about coming on your show, you are very courteous and professional, and in all of our interactions getting me on the show, I thought were a lot less autistic than the ones I usually get in my DMs. So if this guy offers you a spot on a show, I think it would be worth your time. I think I had a lot of fun here today.
I appreciate that, Mumkey. Does that mean we're friends? Oh my god.
I'd say at this point, you're probably if I had a MySpace top 5, you'd probably be in there right now.
All right, cool. Looks like I'm going to be sending you some memes every once in a while.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send me a MySpace friend request, and we'll make this official.
Do you actually have a fucking Snapchat you want to add me on or some bullshit? Or
No, it has to be MySpace.
Has to be?
That's
Okay.
the only way you can.
All right, it's got to be
Because MySpace is the only one where you could rank your friends from most important to least important, and I don't think anybody else does that anymore.
Holy shit, I love that. The hierarchy. And I'm in the top 5. Wow,
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Well,
I know. That's why I gotta make a MySpace.
All right, fuck it. I'll make one too. Yeah, no, this has been extremely fun. I've never done a podcast before. I've done some radio shows and some commentary every once in a while, but I gotta say, I could have not picked a better guest than Mumkey Jones himself. My fucking, this has been really fun. And if you have anybody you'd like to recommend to the show once I upload this, by all means do that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon. Fuck off. I don't give a shit if you do either of those things. Fucking hell, YouTubers make me want to kill myself sometimes. Anyways, no, this was really fun. I'm happy I had you on. Is there anything you want to plug or anything like that?
Just check me out on YouTube, Simi and Jimmy, and leave some mean comments on my videos so that I know you're a real fan.
Yes, exactly. And if you want to leave some hate comments on this too, by all means, I want to hear it. I would like to thank everybody for listening to this dumbass podcast. Next fucking guest should be a YouTuber called Blue Shades. So if you're familiar with him, everybody go ahead and check him out before we bring him on the show. Hopefully it's mutually beneficial. I've had a really fun time, and thanks everyone for watching. And y'all can go fuck yourself, Zance Media. Yeah, suck my